And we'll return. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, has been talked about in a very angry terms by its critics. It's been supported widely by those who praise the idea that millions of Americans who have been uninsured in the past would at least have a chance now. We're beginning to wonder about premiums. We're beginning to wonder about reports of high deductibles. Do you believe this thing's working? We talked about some of the errors in the enrollment process. Thomas Segui, are you telling me that
I guess
you
I
think
can't
it's going to
explain
work?
it enough. It's only 17 days. I realize that there are problems in the system. Everyone in this country realizes that there are problems in the system. But you have to go down, and when you encounter these problems, then you come up with solutions to fix them. We have not given the Affordable Health Care Act a chance. Well, how do you condemn something in 17 days?
I want to agree with Thomas on this deal. We had 3 years and 17 days, but everybody got a waiver but the individuals. If they'd have said, okay, if we're going to take time to kind of figure it out, let's not make the individuals go on there and try to sign up for something they can't sign up for.
What about the people who don't have health care?
They didn't have it yesterday.
Ted Cruz
and they are using our emergency rooms and these small places
just like they did before.
As a doctor.
You know, what do you make of the matter? Like, for example, the American people, according to the polling, really love the idea that they could now be covered under the ACA, even though they have a pre-existing condition. What do you make of the matter that the U.S. Congress should have passed smaller piecemeal measures that would have, say, covered those pre-existing condition gap without utterly changing a system that comprises one-sixth of the American economy?
Being the type of person that I am, I do believe that that was something they possibly could have done, piecemeal, and brought it into law slowly, but that's not what happened.
Are Republicans too critical of this thing? Is everybody ready to kill it before it gets a chance to get going?
Are we too critical? Yes. I'll actually make the argument that maybe we are a little bit too extravagant. That, you know, obviously, you know, I support some of what Ted Cruz did, not all of it, but Ted Cruz made this point. Okay, he would be in support of repeal, but he actually asked in the during the filibuster, all he was asking for is the delay for 1 year. And actually, it's people from the right and left on both sides are coming out. We need to delay this a year because what's going to affect is not working, and this is a big old
Very quickly, I have to
mess.
go to immigration reform, if you will indulge me. Immigration reform, the president has taken up. He's looking at it in some, according to some reports, in a piecemeal fashion, as opposed to the comprehensive immigration reform that the president had talked about earlier in the summer, a piece that was passed by the Senate. And rejected, at least to some extent, in terms of quick passage in the United States House of Representatives. And the president has said he wants this passed by the end of the year. Broad-scale immigration reform. Should the White House take it up as it did before and use the political clout that they built here in these shutdown conversations to essentially ram this into law? Or should a piecemeal fashion be picked up?
I would go piecemeal. I mean, if you haven't learned anything from the Health Care Act, it was a large, cumbersome act put together. Mm-hmm. So I think as you learn from things, you probably would be more amenable to going piecemeal.
You know, the far right is going to start up with border security then first. Border protection, border security, beefing up, you know, the enforcement arm of the immigration reform bill. You satisfied with that? Would you support that?
Well, yes and no. I'm an American. I live here. I'm legal. I work here. I pay taxes here. And in a lot of instances, people are crossing the border that don't pay tax. But I believe that those that are already here, they're here. They're Americans.
Why did the House say no to it last time, and should they have?
One of the things that we need to look at is you talk about settled law. I got news for you. So is the immigration law. It's settled. It says you can't come over here illegally. You can't cross the border and just squat and go, here I am. Can I be an American ahead of all those other people? That is settled law. Sometimes people pick settled law when they want it to be settled. In this particular case, immigration, we have immigration laws that we're not enforcing. And that's the sad part, because the people that are getting hurt the most right now are the people that need to be working. And when you got 90 million Americans not working, we don't need to be opening the gates to other people from other countries whose countries are worse off than ours coming here and putting more Americans out of work. We've got to, if we enforce the laws we have, we'd be way ahead of the game.
Just a minute left. Just a minute
I
left.
guess
in
my
the show.
comment would be, are you aware that the administration has deported more people who come to this company illegal than any other administration?
That I am aware. And before we get out of here, the reason I wore red,
Yeah.
it's Lamar University's
Oh, yeah,
homecoming.
yeah, of course,
And it's
of course.
get your red on. So
Representing the
Red,
city.
Beaumont, LU.
Well done.
A bunch of guys that are big supporters. All of us, we may not agree on everything else, but we're all big LU supporters.
That's right.
15 seconds. Anything you'd like to shill for
Well,
shamelessly?
I guess on that note, I have 2 degrees plus a master's from Lamar University, and I think President Simmons, former President Simmons, now is one of the greatest leaders in our area to ever come over.
Well put. Good
Privilege.
to have
Let's
you.
give us a LU send-off.
We appreciate y'all. Got to run. See you next time.
Southeast Texas Weekly, brought to you by the Modern Vein Surgery Institute at Privity Clinic for Surgical Care.